Dr. J here from the She Protects YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about home invasions and specifically how not to have your home targeted. FBI statistics show that over 1 million homes in the United States are broken into every year. That equates to about a home every 15 to 20 seconds, and we don't want that to be you. I've put together a list of 7 home invasion deterrents that we're going to go through today in this video. So stick around, let's get to it. Tip number 1, make your house look occupied. You can do this in several ways. Easiest ways, I think, are to add lights, sound, and visual props. What do I mean by that? Well, for lights, I would recommend that you put on lights on timers so that the lights are going off at different times of the day, and somebody who's snooping around is not going to know is somebody home or not. Second, you can use sound to your advantage, and you can do that by leaving a radio on, or you could leave the television on. Some people I know actually take a digital recorder of themselves and, let's say, their spouse. They'll have a full conversation, put it on a digital recorder, and as they're gone throughout the day, they just have that on a loop back so it plays throughout the day. So anybody casing the house and maybe coming up to the door and hearing the sound of voices is going to suspect that maybe somebody's already home. You can also take, let's say you have an extra car in the garage. Instead of keep it in the garage, go ahead and put it on your front patio, like in the front of the house or in the driveway is what I'm trying to say. So you can use lights, sound, physical props, anything that is going to say to the bad guy, hey, somebody's home, don't strike here. Tip number 2, you want to increase the visibility around the house as well as decreasing the hiding spots. So what do I mean by that? Increasing the visibility, the absolute best way, just get motion sensor lights so that, and put them on all 4 sides of the house. So somebody approaches the house in the back at night, boom, they're hit with a bright light. They come up from the side, boom, they're hit with a bright light. So increase the visibility, get those motion sensor lights. Now, decreasing the hiding spots for the bad guy, how do we do that? Well, if you have a lot of shrubbery or trees around your house, you want to limit that. Now, I have people who say to me, well, yeah, but doesn't that provide cover for, let's say I'm in the bathroom taking a shower, doing whatever, and that way somebody can't see in? Well, from far away, that's the case. The challenge here is that the bad guy can come right up against that tree, be a peeping Tom looking in, and maybe you wouldn't know or see them as you're trying to look out. So I'd recommend that you just clear away the bushes, the trees, the most you can from the home so that you limit the areas that the bad guy can hide. Tip number 3, strengthen your entry points. And that basically means windows and doors. So for the doors, the average deadbolt in the United States might have metal in it that's this long. Deadbolts are great, and I like deadbolts, but they can easily be compromised. In other words, somebody can easily kick in the door. So you could either maybe put multiple deadbolts on the door, above, below, so there's 3. That increases the strength of the door significantly. You could also, there's just so many extra things on the market that are out there, but one in particular that I like is the bar that goes across, and you can get multiple, let's say 1, 2, 3. You provide exponentially more strength from a torque perspective to that door by reinforcing the door. In terms of windows, the average thief knows what easy windows are, what difficult windows are. So there's really good anti-theft windows out on the market today, and you could upgrade your windows. Of course, that is a more expensive option. If money is tight, you're on a budget, you can also just upgrade what you have. So how do you do that? I would say a lot of the windows have catches. They'll have a catch, and you can actually look in and see. A thief could come over and look in and see, oh, that window has a catch. But they're tiny, and many of them are not very strong and could easily be overcome. So the window's sliding in a groove, right? Kind of like this. You can actually reinforce that catch by putting, let's say, you can cut a broom handle or a piece of metal down to size, put it in the groove that the window slides in. That reinforces that window. Another option would be to get a window sensor, so that if the window is compromised, boop, there's a big loud noise that the window that contraption or the sensor is going to let off. Hopefully, drawing attention to the fact that somebody may be trying to break into the home. So window sensors are great, and you can place them on the door in a place, or the window, in a place that the thief can see, hey, there's something on there, there's a sensor. I don't want to mess with this. I'll go to the next house. Tip number 4, I would install an alarm system and a camera system. There are literally thousands of options for alarm systems out on the market. I'd recommend you do your research, find out what's going to fit your budget, and go from there. For camera systems, there's 2 important points here. One, I'd make sure that you do the camera systems not only externally on the house, but also internally. And be generous. Set up as many cameras as you can afford to set up. But the most important thing about the camera system is to select a system that will capture the image and immediately save it up to the cloud. The importance of this is such that if the thief or the bad guy captures the camera, let's say you have a hidden camera and they find it, or maybe your cameras are out in the open intentionally, but they dismantle it, and they're thinking, I've got off scot-free, I've got the camera. Well, that won't be the case, because the image is captured and it's immediately saved up to the cloud. So tip number 4, install an alarm system and a camera system. And at the very least, if you can't afford to get these systems, put out the signs that say that you have them. It's a bluff, but we're talking about deterrents. Tip number 5, get a dog, or like the camera and security systems, make it look like you have a dog. So a dog is a major deterrent, because they're going to represent to that thief or the bad guy an unpredictability. And these guys want a quick in and out. Go in, rob your house, get out with no problems. If a dog is there, dogs act as a major deterrent. So you can get a beware of dog sign, or you could put out I love my Rottweiler sign, even if you have a Pomeranian, whatever you want to do. But putting signs up indicating that you have a dog, or other things that suggest that you have a dog. You might have leashes hanging around, or dog bowls on the ground, or throw a few dog toys out in the yard. Things like that can be a major deterrent for a thief. So tip number 5, have a dog or make it look like you do. Tip number 6, lock all of your doors, even when you're home. I know that may seem like a really obvious thing to do, but how many of us really actually do that? But I say this because robberies can happen even when you're home. So let's say you're out working in your garage and somebody slips in your open sliding back door, or vice versa, you're working out in your gardening in your backyard and somebody slips in through the front door. So robberies can happen even when you're home. I'd recommend that you just keep all your doors locked. If you have a small setup, let's say you're in tract housing or on a smaller lot where you can actually see your back door, let's say you're gardening and you have a visual on your back door. Well, maybe you leave that one door open if you don't want to keep your keys on you. But if you're sitting there on 40 acres in a rural environment, absolutely 100% lock all your doors, keep your keys with you. So tip number 6, lock doors even when you're home. Tip number 7, beware of the unauthorized visitor. A lot of people will impersonate to be something that they are not. Examples of this, you might get a guy coming to the door saying that they're a delivery person, a maintenance person, a utility person, or even someone of authority like a police officer. But my policy, part of my safety plan, I'm not opening that door until they've authorized themselves. So for example, let's say somebody comes from the electric company saying that they need to look at some things inside the house. I will respectfully ask for their name and their office number and tell them I want to call. I'm not expecting you. I want to call and verify that you're supposed to be here. Or you could ask them to come back and just say, hey, it's not a good time. Can we arrange for another time? But you want to call and verify through that office that they actually work there and that they were supposed to be showing up at that time. Make them authorize themselves. Even if they get angry or irritated, I would say, as a matter of fact, if somebody does get angry or irritated, it makes me even more suspicious of the situation. So unexpected visitor, I'd make them authorize themselves before and if I choose to open the door. Okay, so those are the 7 home invasion deterrent tips that I wanted to go through with you. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. It will help me know what kind of content to continue to produce going forward. I also wanted to just thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I appreciate it, and we hope to see you in the next one.